Yes, hello everyone and welcome back to Hel Tech. It's nice to see you all here again. So today on the 4th of May 2020, we are organizing FemTech, and as if you don't know, Hel Tech is the largest tech meetup in Helsinki, and we're featuring various opinions. Hello everyone and welcome back in tech to Hel Tech. The first week it's nice to see you all here again. So as you can see, due to the current of COVID-19, we had to do it virtually, and happily we got all three speakers today with us. And let's not waste any more time. Let me introduce the first speaker of today, Sini, from the CEO of Hel. And Sini, it's your stage.
Thank you so much, and thank you for introducing me to be a keynote speaker on this conference. So very, very happy and very excited. So I'm going to tell you of our Hel company. So I'm a midwife and the co-founder and the CEO of Hel. So here you can see our presentation. Okay, so can you guys see it? Yes, I think it's coming a little bit later, but anyway, I think it's coming, yeah. So, as I told you, I'm originally a midwife, actually a nurse and a midwife, and I used to work as a midwife many years in the delivery room. And I have took hundreds and hundreds of babies out of the stomach during delivery with those hands. But then we moved to California, Silicon Valley, about 8 years ago, a little bit more than 8 years ago. And there I realized that, that in Finland we have the lowest maternal infant and infant mortality rates. And we have very unique maternity clinic concept. And year after year, Save the Children organization has chosen Finland to be the best country in the world to be a mom. And, living on that very creative atmosphere in Silicon Valley, I thought that how I, as a Finnish midwife, how I can help millions and millions of people all around the world, and how I can create a new export product for Finland. So then we moved back to Finland about 6 years ago, and then the whole story of Hel started. So at the Hel is a multiple award-winning digital health company, and we are exporting the world's best maternity knowledge from Finland to the rest of the world with our mobile application. Hel app features all the necessary advice, whatever parents need. They have millions of questions how we can help them. Maybe you can remember the time when you had your first baby if you are already a parent. So the head is full of questions. So what do the parents do? They go to the internet, what is full of inaccurate information about pregnancy and parenthood. To help those families, we have put together all the world's best maternity information in the world. It is like a pocket guide for parents. So whatever you have to know, like why she's crying, or, so many questions, how to breastfeed, or why he is not sleeping. So millions of questions, and then there is one place that is full of that kind of information that you really can trust. Okay, actually, we have been talking, or we have had kind of like negotiations with like UN in New York, and of course we thought beforehand that maybe they think that how we can, it's easy to say that kind of things. It's easy to give those advices because we are from Finland and we have high quality healthcare system. But actually, even here in Finland, people doesn't know that much, that in Finland we have had very high infant and maternal mortality rates in 1940s. Actually, even the higher level than in developing countries at the moment. Here you can see those numbers. So we have had very high mortality numbers, and now we are about on the zero. Here you can see how Layet app looks like. So here is our front page, and then we have those categories like pregnancy, childhood, and parenthood. And then we have also that kind of news feed, which is full of daily changing tips based on your due date or based on your how old your babies or kids are. And we are doing cooperation with many associations in Finland, like Heart Association, Diabetes Association, Red Cross, for example. So actually, we are kind of like platform for all of those best of the best knowledge in the world. So that we are very proud all of those cooperator partners. And actually, I'm going to tell you later why I have those Chinese characters also there. And we have thought, how can I say, as large as we can, those content. So not only pregnancy, not only parenthood, but also like fatherhood, also first aid, also what to eat, how to exercise, everything the parents should need. And at the moment, we are creating our own virtual maternity clinic. So the mom or daddy, they can use that kind of like bath during the pregnancy. So every day they have some tasks, some articles, some advices, and that our own maternity clinic is totally based on Finnish maternity clinic. So actually we are creating the whole system with Finnish nurses who are working in Finnish maternity clinic, like we call it neuvola. So with those neuvola nurses. So here you can actually see, for example, there's a kick counter, then you can like contraction tracker, then you can mark all of your blood pressures, blood sugars, all of those things, and also how you are feeling, and like hundreds of articles about all those things. And it's very, very, how can I say, I'm happy that it's not only the business, like, I don't know how to explain it, but, like not only doing like, yeah, we want to do as much money as possible. Of course, it's business, but it's very high impact business. So actually here you can see, like in Dove, they have that kind of saying that please say good things for each other, because, like it's impact, but it's not that, you cannot save lives. But with that Syncardia, you can really save lives, but, not that many people need that. What is that if you need some like new heart for you? So it's that kind of company. But with Layet, we really can save lives, and it's very scalable, so for millions of people. Here you can see our core team. We have at the moment a team of 13, but we are from very different backgrounds. So we have midwives, we have software developers, we have design team, we have we have the headquarters in Tampere, but also we have one office in Helsinki, and then we have a couple of people living in Dubai, and one people living in Beijing, China, and then we have one team already starting in Japan. I will tell you later about China and Japan cases. So the whole application is possible to scale up very fast in any country with Apple or Google stores. And at the moment, Layet is available in Finnish and English. And then we have translated everything also in Japanese and partly in Chinese. And at the moment, we launched Layet in Finland 2018, and at the moment, kind of, it depends how we count it. We have had that kind of saying that half of the pregnant women has already downloaded Layet in Finland. But actually, because our target group is the mom with the first pregnancy, so actually, because we have about 20,000 downloads per year, and in Finland you have 19,500 people who has their first pregnancy. So it's very good percent at the moment in Finland. So why China is so important for us? Actually, they have that kind of official guidance. The name is Healthy China. And they really want to reduce the maternal and infant mortality rates from the current states. And of course, we want to be part of that challenge, or that kind of like, how can I say that, official guidelines. And we have, as I told you before, one woman living in Beijing, she's like originally Finnish woman. And at the moment, we have negotiations to establish a joint venture to China. Actually, first we need a daughter company, and then the joint venture. And we are at the moment in negotiations to very big companies. One of the biggest, how can I say, the baby stuff company, and then one governmental company. So I really, really hope that someday we can say that we are part of that Chinese joint venture. And then why Japan is so important for us. So Japan is actually taking part of the Finnish maternal care system into nationwide by end of this year. So they have already hundreds and hundreds of those Finnish maternity clinics. So in Finnish it's neuvola, and in Japanese it's neuvola. So they have kind of not really copied everything, but they have took the best part of Finnish maternity clinic concept, and they want to offer it for the parents. And of course, we are totally perfect match because we have the whole maternity clinic concept, but on the digital way. So we opened it Japanese market, maybe about 1 month ago. And at the moment we have, 5,000, even more, 6,000 downloads. I don't know, because it's chasing about 200 new downloads each day. So I'm very happy. Actually, it's so funny to see that we have the most of the users at the moment. They are living in Helsinki and Tampere area. And the second biggest is Yokohama, and what was the second one? Yokohama and maybe Shinjuku or something. Osaka was also. So I'm so proud of ourselves because we have done that so many years already, like 5 years. We have been waiting this moment. We have just done all of those articles and everything for this moment that we can open our first international markets. So we have, as I told you, we have been waiting so many years, working so hard, not any summer holidays, not any weekend holidays. We have just been working. And of course, sometimes we are like, not depressed, but a little bit like, oh my God, that we really have to keep everything going well and do all the best decisions. But then we have won so many prizes. So actually here you can see in my slide. So we are like winner of so many different things, like new entrepreneur of the year, and also the best growth potential, both in future health and well-being and the digital health. Those were on the different years. Nordic China competition and productive idea, everything like outstanding young person and that kind of things. But actually the most important was that NTT Data. I'm not sure if you have heard about that company, but it's actually the 5th biggest IT company in the world. And they were looking for the best startups in the world. And we won first the Nordic Baltic area. And then we flew to that whole world competition in Tokyo last year. And then they selected Layet to be the 11th best startup in the whole world. So I'm super happy and thankful for that. And of course, they have helped us a lot. Like before we opened Layet in Japan, those entity data employees was our test users. So, and they because of that company, we have had so many good meetings. So very proud of that. So this is like, I just put a couple of good tips, or at least how I think that it's a good way of living. So of course we have thought so many times that if that was good idea or bad idea, or like never, we will never do any app company or game because it's so horrible, like so many bugs all the time, like that kind of things. But actually, still I think that you will miss 100 of the shots you never take. So at least we have tried, at least we have do our best, like 100% sure. So, like you just have to do what you have to do. And then, like it's better not think, like what if? And yeah, just be unstoppable. Just like go and like rock and roll, like you just like have to be on fire. I have had so many good opportunities during those years. So as I told you before, I was speaking on the New York with the UN. We have introduced Layet in Ministry of Health in Japan, Ministry of Health in China. I was even keynote speaker last November in European Parliament, Brussels. So, like, of course, I had, like, how can I say, I was a little maybe worried or kind of like panicked before, but, like, just let it go and just do your best. And oh my God, when we had our first investor round last year, there was like 1 million times like, no, all the time. But I always think that you cannot hear it. Like, don't hear it no, hear it every time that not yet. As our investor round, it went perfectly. So now we are going to open our next round, actually. So I really hope that it will end also in a good way. And then here is actually you can also see on my t-shirt that little baby unicorn. So we have an advisor in Israel who is also VC investors. And he told me that you are really going to be the real unicorn, the $1 million valuated company, $1 billion valuated company. So now he said that we have to be that, like we should take that little baby unicorn. So because it's so cute and it's like something super special. So all of us should be like, think like that way, that be this baby unicorn. So that's the story of Layet, and I'm happy to answer if you have any questions. I will end my slides and screen sharing so I can see if you have any questions there on the chat.
Yes, thank you, Cindy, for the presentation. Super informative, super lively, super energetic. I believe that our audience love it. And for now, I can see there's some question on Slido. So would you mind if I ask you some questions?
Yeah, of course, I'm free
Yes.
to answer.
So what is the potential of Finnish FemTech industry, in your opinion?
Oh, I really trust it. I really think that we have very good options all over the world. So and at least I try to do my best that like it's going to be huge.
Yes, I can see it. It's like your product and services are now like internationally, and I think maternity services and applications should be considered in every country, it's not only in Finland. And
yes, exactly. So when we founded Layet, we founded it like immediately to be international business. So we never even thought that let's do a maternity app for Finnish people who already have it for free. like the whole idea was to establish a company and create our Layet app for international, as like the bigger the better. So that's why we are like waiting for Chinese and Japanese markets, and of course the rest of the world.
Yes. So what will be the next move for Layet in the future, or let's say in the next 10 years?
Ooh, 10 years is a lot, but if I try to say it quite shortly. So first, now we are opening Japanese market, and we are in very good and actually big negotiations all the time there. But I think in the near future, like 2020, I think or at least 21, we have to establish other companies and joint ventures, also Japan and China, like both countries. And then, of course, we have thought about US markets, but also the European area is very important. And actually, before that Corona pandemic, we've had a discussion with one actually very big clinic chain, and they have those clinics in 6 different countries in Europe. So let's hope that everything will continue perfectly after Corona epidemic. And then, of course, we created the whole company for that, like someday we want to do exit.
Yes, that's a great answer. And I think that would be the last one here. So what is the biggest challenge that Layet has faced since the beginning?
Ooh, of course we have daily challenges. But I think the kind of like hardest part was last year before our first investor round, because all of those we have been about 3-4 years with our own team, and then I have all the time, and we won everything, all the competitions, and then I thought that okay, that like we have good idea, we have such a good idea. And then no one wanted to invest us. And I was like crying that, oh my God, that I thought that I had a good idea. And actually now I can see that it was the bad idea. But then when the first investor jumped in, then she was the first one who asked for, like it just continued. And when we were closing that investment round, actually there were many other investors who wanted to join us, but we had to close that investor round. So in the end, I was super happy and super proud of it. But oh my God, it was so hard. I had cried so many times before we founded our first investor.
Okay, that's a great story behind the challenges. I love it a lot. And thank you again, Cindy, for joining us today at Hel Tech. And I hope that, also our audience, I believe that they will really want to see you in the future as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure. And have a nice week and a sunny summer.
Okay, so that is our first speaker for today. And I hope you have gained some more knowledge about Layet and also about Cindy, her company, and her story of being entrepreneurs. So for now, let's welcome our second speaker of the day is Rini, the founder of Nordic Fit Mama.
Yes, hello everyone. It's Riina Laaksonen here, and I'm happy to be here. I'm really happy to speak after Sini because there are a lot of similarities in our businesses. Can you hear me? I guess.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna start okay, thank you. I'm just gonna start the presentation so you can see the slides at the same time. Just a moment. Can you see my slides as well?
not yet.
Not yet?
Yes.
Okay. Can you advise me what I should
Yes,
do?
I can see it now. Looks great.
You can see it now. Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna put it to the present. Can you tell me if you would not see it, so I will do something, but otherwise I just assume that you will see it. Okay,
Yes.
but my name is Riina. I'm a founder of Nordic Fit Mama and the biggest owner of it. And the aim of Nordic Fit Mama is to improve the quality of life of mothers here in Finland and everywhere else. And as I said, that we are slightly in the same field with Sini, which is so I'm so excited of that, and really excited that we are both female founders, because I think there are very rare female founders in tech industry. Actually, I just spent the last October in States, in Austin, Texas, and I was giving a company pitch to a room full of men founders. I was the only female one. So that's why I'm really happy that there are also female founders. But anyway, I actually had 2 companies. Everything started from Lupaus Wellness Studio. Lupaus means promise in Finnish, and the background of the name is that you give yourself a promise of a better life and life changes. And it was a physical fitness studio, and founded in autumn 2014. Before that, I was around 10 years in ICT industry, working in Finland and in Central Europe. So that's my background. I've also been a fitness instructor for almost 20 years now. So that has been my beloved hobby, but now it's also my job. And I'm going to tell you now my story as an entrepreneur, and I will hope that I can share some experiences, and maybe I can share something that avoid you to make the mistakes I have made. But I remember when I studied to be a personal trainer, during our education, there was a time when our teacher said to us that now it's time to dream. So close your eyes and dream big. No reality is needed. And I remember thinking of a big, light, airy fitness studio in Helsinki city center, and there would be all kinds of beautiful fitness and health services, and all would be light and airy and nice and bright, and it would be really, really beautiful. And when we moved in 2016 to bigger space with Lupaus Studio, I really much felt that my dream has came true, because it was in Helsinki city center. It was light, airy, big, beautiful studio, and I was super happy. But little did I know, because when we moved, we over doubled the space of the studio, and we weren't too fast to grow. So and we of course we had the fixed costs were sky high in Helsinki city center. So and during the year 2018, all the risks that you can imagine, and also those that you cannot imagine, came true. So it was really super hard. And in the end of year 2018, I had to close the studio, and everyone who has closed their business baby know that there are so many feelings regarding that. And to be honest, last year I went through all those feelings, and I still go through them. And it was really hard. But at the same time, I had been in leading 2 companies in parallel for 3 years, and I also have 3 children, a husband and a dog, so it was more than a handful. So I was pretty tired, and I was so ready to close the studio. Yes, this is the picture of the studio, so you can see it was really beautiful, light and airy. We had a big penthouse in city center. And here is a short timeline of everything that happened during last 5 and so years. And I was so tired in the time that we closed the studio that my husband needed to empty the studio. So last three full of cars of stuff my husband took off from the studio and made it ready and locked the doors to give it away because it was rented, of course. But at the same time with Lupaus, we had been growing Nordic Fit Mama. So Nordic Fit Mama was our digital services, and we also had piloted it in Canada. So we were international as well. And the revenue of our digital services had doubled every year. So it was quite good. And of course, when I closed the studio, I had the possibility to continue with Nordic Fit Mama. And a little bit more than a year ago, last February, I got my first investor on board. And it was really a big step for me. And during the last year, we also piloted in Ireland, in United States, and in United Kingdom. So we altogether in last year we were in 5 different markets. So it was quite a lot. And I'm the only founder, so I'm a solo founder, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it's hard, but I've been happy to found a lot of good people, beside me. So I don't feel being alone. I have 2 years now. I have had outsourced CMO and other outsourced services that I use. Also the team of experts that I use, they're also outsourced, and I feel that this is a really good way because it's flexible, and I'm really specific with the costs at the moment because I have learned a lot during the Lupaus times when I had a team and a lot of employees and stuff, and it was quite hard. So now I'm really happy to be free and flexible, and yeah. And maybe one of the best things that I have is a fantastic advisory board. I have 5 different advisors that have been here since the time of Lupaus. So they have known me for several years now, and the advice that they give is really really good because they are in fields that they have experience that I don't have, and they are in fields that I don't know about. So it's a really good information for me. And also it's good to hear once in a while that you are doing well, because they encourage me, of course, and also they challenge me, which is good as well. And I feel that you can get help, even though you are a solo founder or you feel sometimes that you are alone. And I think that is something that all entrepreneurs feel from time to time. And but yeah, since the very beginning, I've felt that you will get help, but you have to ask for it, because no one will come and bust your doorbell and say that I'm here to help. It's not going to happen. You have to put yourself out there, and you have to say, hey, I need help, and you have to, you just have to tell your story, and the people that like it, they will follow you and they will help you. And that is something that I feel that I have been given so much, and I also want to give further. So I have all of my career life, I have had fantastic mentors, and that's why when people ask me to be a mentor, I will be happy to do it. I never think that if I have time or not, because that is something that I can do to help other people now. And that is I think that is the way that people should do it. When you give help, you will also get it. Last spring I took part to Nordic Startup School Accelerator, and also the energy and the support of other startups were it was amazing, and that is actually where I met Sini from Layet, and I won the accelerator, and I got the reward was 1 month mentoring in USA, and that is actually why I was in US last October, and otherwise it would not have been possible for me. So I was happy, and that was for sure one of the highlights of the whole year, one of the highlights of my whole entrepreneur career, because the networking and learning and everything in there was just awesome. And yeah. And my being there made it possible to pilot in the USA. And at the moment, I have one person in the USA also telling the happy story about Nordic Fit Mama to local moms. So that is awesome. And so after Lupaus, when I was quite tired, I have done some changes in my work life, in my whole life, and yeah, so my own health and well-being have been the priority one, and I know that people often say that health is the first priority, but sometimes the things that you do in your life is just, they are not working well for it. But yeah, for sure that has been my priority one, and it has also meant saying no to some things. And actually my code word has been sustainability. So I have been creating and building a sustainable working life for me, a sustainable life for me, because I am also a mom of 3, and I want to be present for my family, and I want to give them my best energy, not the energy that I have after working full day. And of course, that as an entrepreneur we work hard, super hard all the time. So you have to focus. And yeah, I think we all are pretty hard workers and dynamic people, and we have goals, and we go and we get them, and after that we have another goal, and we go and get them, and after that another goal, and it goes like that. So I don't know if it sounds familiar to you, but I know that's me. But I have learned to question myself once in a while, and also to think, why are we rushing? Why are we hurrying? Because it's so important to enjoy the ride. And yeah, because the ride is our life, and my life is my children's childhood, and that is a big thing. And I think that is something that we all should think about sometimes. Yeah. When you say that your company is like your own child, it means that you have a lot of feelings regarding your company. There is a lot of emotions going on all the time, and you need self-management skills, and that is also something that you have to learn, and that is something that I've tried to learn really hard, especially during last year when I was tired and I was building my life all over again, my working life all over again. And yeah, that is also the when you do something with big passion, it's you might end up doing it too much and not knowing where you should limit your doing and working and stuff. So I think the limits are really super important, and also the focusing. It's really important, and I always recommend mentors and advisors and people you can spar with, because they can see the whole thing when you are just doing stuff and seeing like this and thinking just one thing at a time, but they can see the whole big picture, and it's really good to have somebody near you who can see the whole thing. And yeah, it's also good to challenge yourself once in a while and think that, is this the direction that I should go? Because you can always, if you have chosen something, you can always choose again. If that doesn't feel good, you can choose again and again and again. So yeah. And if you want to go further, and be big, for me, it was also very clear, like Sini said, that we are not gonna be only a Finnish company. We are gonna help all the mothers in the world, because as Sini said, we have the best healthcare system here in Finland, and that is something that every mother deserves. And what Nordic Fit Mama does, we help moms after giving birth. We help them to get their bodies back to themselves again and to adjust to the new life situation with online courses. And that is something that is really universal. Pregnancy and childbirth, it doesn't matter where you do it. Women have the same kind of questions and issues that they go through. And we as well at the moment, we are bonding with bigger partners, because we are small companies, small startup from small country. And what we need is bigger partners. And I think our first international market after Finland, where we will start big, most probably it's going to be UK. And at the moment we are negotiating it, but because the pandemic came, things quite shut down. But let's hope that we will be able to continue it in the future, and I'm pretty sure that we are. But anyway, if you want to go further and be big, you also you have to take risks, and you cannot please everyone, because you just have to follow your intuition and follow your goals and your aims, and it's you will also everything won't go like you want it to go. So there will be all kinds of things, and risks will come true, as many risks came true for me during year 2018. Of course, some risks came true during 2019. And of course, some risks came through already 2020. So it will always happen. But I think it's like either we win or we learn. And so I don't really think that we are unsuccessful or something if some risks come true, because it's business as usual. The more you try, the more there are also risks. And what people usually see, they see the succeeded things, but you will have to take care of the risks as well, and it can be really hard. So that's why it's important that you have those mentors, advisors, team members, partners, whatever, that give you energy when you feel down, and with who you can speak or take a drink when you feel like it. Yeah. So I think it's really important that you take care of yourself, because when you do new things every day, and when there are risks and you are in new situations, your energy have to be good. You have to feel good, because otherwise it's not possible to be in all those kind of situations, because it takes a lot from you. So I think you have to do things that give you good energy and take care of yourself very well. Yes. If we go a bit back in time, I will tell you a little bit about my history. I did my master studies, in very non-Finnish way. I was working after undergraduate studies, and during my masters, we went to South Africa for a year, and my major was international business. So it was okay to go to South Africa, but the real reason was to be able to surf, because that is one of my beloved hobbies, and the other is snowboarding. But during the year in South Africa, I was doing a couple of volunteer jobs. I was working in township, which is a slum. I work with kids. That is one of my favorite students, Zinani. And the other job was in marine hospital. So I can, for example, force feed a penguin, which is really not something that I use daily, but it's nice to say anyway. But why I'm telling this right now to you is that what these experiences have given to me is gratitude, a lot of gratitude, because and they have learned me to value things that I before took granted. And so, for example, being free, being safe, and stuff like that, that we just grow with them, and we just think that they are here forever. I think that you value them, and you really see them, the value of them after you have lost them once. And so after the year in South Africa, there is not a day that goes by that I won't feel very grateful about my freedom here and my safety and my ability to do stuff, because we girls, us girls here, we can choose what we do and we can do what we want, and there are so many girls in the world that don't have the same opportunities. So I'm really happy, and why I'm telling this gratitude stuff for you is that gratitude is very strong power, and I think you should think about things, because that is also a way to manage your thinking, manage your thoughts, and I really much feel that we are what we think, and we can choose what we think, so it really does matter. And we cannot always choose the circumstances, but we can always choose our attitude, and we can always choose what we bring to the room when we go to the room, and what we give to people when we meet them. Yeah, so I challenge all of you guys to think, what are you grateful for today? And that is one thing how I start my days. I start it, for example, in a way that I go to morning shower, or I go for a swim to the ocean, and I just think that I'm really grateful for the nature, and I'm really grateful for my family, and that my freedom, that I can do what I want. And you should do that as well, because it gives you overwhelming. It's so overwhelming, and it gives you good feeling, and it also gives you focus on the good things and things that you can choose think. And that is also self management. And I don't know if you have heard the saying that what we carry in our mind, we carry in our body, and other way around. So if we think negative things, we feel negative things in our body as well, and the other way around. So it matters what we think. Yep. And what I want to say to you is that it's also really important to celebrate all the things that you do and where you succeed, because there are those risks that I told you about, and there are things that won't work in a way that you would like to. So whenever you succeed, you feel free to celebrate it, and you should do it. You should do it often, because that is also that gives you good energy, and the energy is something that everyone feels and sees when they feel and see you. And remember to enjoy that we have the choose to. We have the possibility to choose, and the days are different. And if you can do what you want and where you have the passion, you are living your dream in a way. And because also positivity is very, very, very great power. And I think when people are positive and when they are doing something with a passion, they are irresistible, because you just feel their passion, and it's so great. Yeah. And what I learned in United States last November is that I think one of the biggest thing what I learned from there is that I was able to manage, and I was able to cope, and my calendar was empty when I went there. And after a couple of days, I already had meetings here and there, and one meeting led to another, and it was great. And also, you easily think that you are just one little you from one little country named Finland, and you go to the big world when you go to USA, for example, or UK. But people, the founders, they were the same in USA as well. And what I give credit, why I give credit to us is that we have very extremely good general knowledge. I think it's because of our extremely good schooling and education system. So we can we can be proud of our doing in the big world as well. And one is, of course, technology. That is something that we Finns take for granted, and we think that everyone everywhere has that kind of technology that we have, but no ways. The reality is that we are very good, and we are ahead of many countries. Yeah, so we can be proud of those things. And if one thing that I hope that you will remember is that anything is possible. I think you should aim really high, because someone is going to go there anyway, and it can be you, for sure. And yeah, that's me doing my favorite thing in the world. But this was something that I was wanting to show to you. So my 6 important things that I told you about, and enjoy the journey. And this was everything that I had to say. Feel free to contact me anytime. I will be happy to help. And yeah, if you have ideas or feedback or anything, feel free to contact me. And thanks for listening.
Okay, thank you, Riina, for the great presentation. And I love it, the journey of you being the solopreneur in the startup world and the rare females leaders in the technology startups. I think we have some time for a few quick questions. Do you mind if I bring it up?
Yes, I'd be happy to answer.
Great. So there are some questions here asking about the challenges of being the solo leader, the only founders in the fast-growing and expanding company. So would you mind elaborate on that?
Yeah, it's challenging for sure, because you have to do all the decisions by yourself, and you have to be in charge of everything. So but also there is, with everything you have 2 sides. You can do all the decisions, and you don't have to negotiate and compromise that much. So actually they have done some studies in US that where investors most likely would want to invest, and they would like to invest in solo found, because they have studied and researched that solopreneurs and the companies of the solopreneurs are the ones that will most likely grow really extremely fast and be big. Or on the other hand, they won't grow, they will decrease, and they will die in the end. And I think that is because of that you don't have to compromise. If your idea is good, there is nothing that can stop you, because you don't have to compromise that much. But if it's not that good, it just will, die slowly, or not that slowly. But yeah, to answer to the question, it's hard, and it requires a lot. And of course, if I would have possibility to grow my team like this big, this fast, I would do it. But the realities are like they are, and I rather think that there are things that I can do, that there aren't things that I can't do. So that is my attitude.
Yes, and I myself believe that Nordic Fig Mama will be the one that, fast growth in the future. That's a really great idea. I just personally believe that. And I think we have time for one last question. So how has starting your own company impacted your life as a mom, and also as an entrepreneurial mindset?
Oh, wow, that is a really good question. I think that a lot because I have grown in entrepreneur family, and my grandmother was an entrepreneur when she was 25, and she also had 5 children, and that wasn't so common back then. It's not that common right now either, but anyway, I think that it's a big thing how I can what kind of mindset I can give to my children. I can give them a mindset that everything is possible and you can do what you love, you can do, and a job, it has always been much more for me than just a job. It's my life, and it's definitely a big thing. And of course the freedom that being an entrepreneur gives to me, it has been very very nice, especially right now when my son has started the school. I have been able to walk him to the school every day, and it's of course a big thing for me. So the fact that I can do my schedules and work when I most feel like it, that's great. But of course there was a month last October that I was away the whole month, so that was a long thing for my kids. So there are sides and there are other sides, but and you have to choose the thing that you feel good about.
So I can understand. So based on the situation of being the solopreneurs and as a family person, I can say. So there's a lot of difficulties, but a lot of rewards as well from the work. But really, thank you so much for joining us today at Hel Tech, and I hope we can collaborate more in the future, for sure.
Yes, thank you.
So that is our second speaker, and I hope you guys had enjoyed Hel Tech so far. And for the last speaker, there will be a little plotters here. So I will have a little chit chat with the last speaker. She's known as the first female in Finland to take part in the partner position in a venture capital firm. And I am so glad, and Hel Tech team is really glad to have Katerina from Inventures here with us today for a small talk. So.
Hello, pleasure to be here.
Yes, Ekaterina, maybe you want to introduce yourself a little bit to the audience.
Sorry, can you say it again? The sound has been now very bad.
Yes. Would you mind introduce yourself to the audience?
Of course. So, Ekaterina Janelli, I'm a partner of a Nordic venture capital firm called Inventure, where I invest in and work with many entrepreneurs addressing some of the world's biggest challenges, including health overall, as well as female health or female technology.
Cool, great. So let's not waste any more time. Let's dive right into our topic for today, FemTech. So how do you explain FemTech in your words?
So FemTech is a technology domain that refers to products that address women's needs primarily. So in other words, those companies that are operating in the intersection of technology and female health, such as Layet and Nordic Fit Mama that you've just heard from. The term FemTech, I believe, was first used by Ida Teen, who is a founder of a fertility company, Clue, in about a few years ago. So it's a very new term. A lot of people confuse FemTech with female entrepreneurship, as in women working in technology space, which are not, of course, the same. So historically, or why FemTech exists, I think historically medicine has been mostly focusing on male body as a standard, and treating women's need secondary. So women's need haven't been researched enough and haven't been addressed to the same level yet. There are a lot of gaps, a lot of data gaps that we haven't been collecting enough data on women's health. For example, a good book to read on this topic, if you're interested in this topic, is called Invisible Women by Carolyn Perez. In the book, Carolyn gives good examples of how lack of data on women's health is putting women at risk. For example, lack of medical trial on women mean that we don't have enough data on how certain drugs affect women or affect women's health. There are a lot of differences, a lot of psychological difference between male and female bodies when it comes to hormones, medicine, giving birth, pregnancy, etc. So FemTech space works with new technology, including software apps, wearables, AI, etc., to bring awareness to women's health.
That's a really impressive answer. I think it's really detailed, include everything to explain FemTechs in the professional ways. Thank you a lot. And I have been heard that it's true that FemTech is usually misinterpreted with female in technology or female entrepreneurship, and there's some saying as well saying FemTech is only about women. And what do you think about this statement?
It's definitely not only about women, it's about our society as a whole. So some of the areas addressed by FemTech companies include fertility, contraception, reproductive health, and others. For example, a Danish company, CureSense, helps women to get diagnosed with diabetes or cancer using their menstrual blood. So non-invasively and without visiting a doctor. Or then Swedish startup Natural Cycle is the first app that has been approved by EU to track fertility using a thermometer. Or then a German startup called Inne helps you track your hormones and fertility with saliva tests. So again, much easier than previously. So many of the companies in this space make it much easier for women to plan families and get pregnant, for example. So the primary users of these products are, of course, women who can better understand and manage their health or health conditions, or choose the right contraceptives or get diagnosed earlier. But ultimately, all the solutions that are created within this FemTech sector are essential for the health of families and our societies overall, not just women.
Yes. I also believe that FemTech is for family as whole, not only about women and women's health. Because I have been asking this question because there's some comments and there's some chit-chats around this topic since we established the post on our social media channels. There has been some discussion around it. And would love to know from an expert side, what do you think about that? So thank you a lot for the questions, for the answer. And as an insight, as an investor in Nordic countries, or in Finland to be specific, so what do you think the position FemTech is standing in the next 5 years or longer, in the longer run, in 10 years?
I think so far FemTech has only accumulated about 1 billion in funding over the past years. I expect to have this number a lot higher in the upcoming years. And the recent rounds of some of the companies in this space, for example, LV or UK-based company LV, only prove that fact. They just raised another 50 million. In addition, I expect to see a lot more products created within FemTech sector. So those technology products or technology primarily products being sold in the department stores and retail, not just online. I expect to see a lot more doctors to start using FemTech products in their daily practice to treat their patients or to follow up with their patients. Again, so far, these products haven't been widely used yet. And then I believe that insurance companies will start reimbursing for those products very soon. So I do see a lot of potential, or I do expect a lot of growth in this sector. I'm sure the same trend will follow in Finland. There haven't been too many companies in Finland in this sector, but I believe that there will be a lot more.
Yes. And as I know, the expected market size for FemTech in 5 years will be $50 billion US dollars. And only during this year, FemTech market has grown 7 times larger than 2 years ago. And the money has been doubling, invested money from not only Nordic countries but from around the world has been doubled. And it's only counting the first quarter of 2020. And it's like the invested money is now standing at nearly 1 billion US dollars already. But the 1 billion US dollars has made up only 10% of the general invested money during 2020. And it seems like with the fast growth rate and the rocket development and a lot of expectations coming from this industry, is not the investor's favorite option. And why does it happen, in your opinion?
Right. I think previously investors didn't spot enough opportunities in this sector, and that could be because of several reasons. So first, I believe there were very few companies focusing on women's health, so there were not enough of entrepreneurs starting those companies. Second, I think some investors might have thought that that FemTech is too small of a market or too niche of a market, despite the fact that it addresses half of the population actually. And then, in addition, I think some of the investors are possibly not able to evaluate investment opportunities in these sectors because of some gaps in their team. So, for example, lack of female investors who would look at these products, because women are predominantly pitching to male investors even today. One of the alarming facts is that I believe even those VCs that are focused on healthcare or digital health, 80% of those VCs have never invested in FemTech or women's health products, which is of course very strange or alarming. But luckily, I believe that the situation has been changing and will be changing during the upcoming years.
Yes. As understand, I have done some research myself about FemTech investment, not only in Nordic countries. So there's some report saying because of women's characteristic of being shy and not so straightforward as male founders, they cannot raise a lot of money compared to their competitors with men CEO and founders. So what is your opinions about this one? So is it because of the women's health issues is not being understood enough, or is it because of the natural of the shyness of female entrepreneurs when it comes to asking for money and investment?
I think it's more women's issues are not yet understood enough. And of course, if you think about FemTech companies, they are not necessarily started and run by women. We see mixed teams or male-founded startups addressing the same issues. So the fact that the company is active in FemTech doesn't mean that they are run by women. So I would say that it's definitely the fact that male investors or some of the investors don't see enough opportunities in the space yet.
Yes, that's a really great questions. It answer my curiosity as well, because I've been wonder, is it the real thing that female entrepreneur has been acting more shy when it comes to investment? But I think it's more the other part that is not being well understood by a room of male investors. Just take an example of Rina from Nordic Fit Mama. She has the same problem, that she pitched her idea in the room with all the men. So it could be understand from that perspective. And why should FemTech be of prime importance in this modern world? Or important for investors nowadays?
I think the sector is clearly on the rise, and we do see more and more opportunities and more companies created within the sector, which is great. I think according to some of the market research, the FemTech industry should go up to 50 billion within the next 5 years, which of course is a massive market. Already today, there are some investors that are focusing solely on FemTech space. For example, RIA Ventures, based out of the US, who are focused on reproductive health and female health alone. The market is big and growing. Even if you take even if you take one condition of endometriosis, for example, that affects a lot of women, it pretty much affects the same number of women as diabetes. So one woman in 10 gets it. At the same time, it receives significantly less funding. So I think the ratio is approximately 1 to 200, as in $1 spent on diabetes on endometriosis gets $200 for diabetes. So the opportunities are clearly there, and the market will clearly be growing. That's why I think it's a good time to invest in these opportunities now.
Great. So is InVentures looking for some FemTech companies or considering any FemTech companies to put in the portfolio at this moment?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yes, sure. I'm asking if InVentures is looking or considering any FemTech companies or businesses at this point, when there is an obvious rise in FemTech industry, and it has been proven as a game changer in the future.
So we, with InVenture, we have already invested in several companies. Actually, one of them is a Danish company, CureSense, that is able to track different health biomarkers from menstrual blood. We are definitely looking into more companies. So if there are any founders of FemTech companies watching this, please do get in touch. I would love to meet you and learn more about you.
Awesome. So there's an opportunity right there here in Finland. That's so clear. And what are some recommendations or suggestions, not for individual investors, but for those founders or want to be founders of FemTech company they might be in the audience right now? What are some recommendations or suggestions from your side?
I think the market timing is great at the moment, so that will definitely play in your favor. I think the suggestion is to focus on the talent or focus on the team you build around you. Like the previous speaker said, it's very hard to be a solo entrepreneur, and the main reason for us as investors to back you is your team, pretty much. So make sure to get the right people on board, and then otherwise I think there are a lot of opportunities within the FemTech market at the moment.
Great. There's just one last question. So you just talked about the team. So mostly you look into the team first. So what kind of specialties or expertise that you are looking for? Like some kind of what are you looking for when you look at, what do you define the great team in a startups or companies?
Yeah, so the great team in my view has to be, first of all, diverse, second, complementary, and third, cover all the key competence areas. So from sales to product development to operations, etc. So covering the key competence, making sure that you have diverse experience in terms of backgrounds and skills is very important.
Yes, and I'm so sorry. This is my last questions for you. So what do you think is the most potential area for FemTech industry? In which area?
I think, it's hard to say or to name one area. I think there are a lot of different areas that make our healthcare or our health better. So starting from diagnostics or easy diagnosis of different diseases to making prescriptions quick and easy, so that to family planning. There are a lot of different areas where I see high potential still.
Great. I think that's the end of my. I don't have any more questions. Everything is pretty clear for me, and I got all my questions answered, so I cannot be happier. Thank you, Ekaterina, for joining us today. And there's a lot of insights, a lot of knowledge in your chit chat with me. So I really hope that we can continue collaborating in the future if we have opportunities. But thank you a lot for coming. Yes, and that is the end of our event today. Thank you, all of you, for joining and making FemTech happen. It cannot be organized without you guys. Also, a big thank to our partners, CGI and AutoDG platform. We will come back at August with cloud computing, so stay tuned, follow our social media channels, and waiting for more news. Thank you. I'm Min, the new head of Hel Tech, and I will see you guys later this year.